Help me out here. Welcome back to the Help Me Out Here podcast. This episode is brought to you by Soundstripe. If you're a creator and you need music or sound effects for any of your projects, like me, I make a lot of videos. I need a lot of different songs and sound effects. Check out Soundstripe. If you follow the link in the description and use the code ZACH at checkout, you'll get 10% off your membership. And it's already super affordable, so go check it out. They have really good music and sound effects. Also, you can become a patron and support my work for as little as $3 a month. I'm so thankful for all my patrons, and if you want to join the Patreon gang, please do. It helps me out so stinking much. And I'm very thankful for my patrons. Today on the show is my friend Seth Webster of Oh Sleeper. It's his second time on the show. And also co-hosting with me today is my roommate, Caden Burton. This conversation was really fun. We nerded out about video games and kind of went down a bunch of tangents, and it was just a blast. So hope you enjoy it. See you later. It's nice though, because this time you don't have to like hold it the whole time.
Well, and that kind of like, now I don't know what to do with my hands.
You can just do that the whole time while you're talking.
Most people listen anyway, so you can do whatever you want and they won't need to see you. Yeah. We have Seth Webster back. I'll do an intro like I did last time, but
yeah,
you're back on the podcast, and last time the video got corrupted. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
It was a bummer.
I listened to it.
Oh yeah, the HDMI
You
port
and
in my
5
camera.
other people.
It got way more than 5.
Oh, that's cool.
It was around 8.
There we go. I was gonna say no one followed my Twitch.
Dang it. So you started a Twitch though.
I did. I don't know that that's an extremely effective way to describe it. I created one and streamed things.
That counts.
That bots followed.
Yeah.
And maybe one real person for.
Counts as a follow.
I mean, I guess, but it wasn't like a person I could interact with. So that was that.
Interaction's overrated, I think.
Interaction is really hard to get while streaming.
Sure.
I struggle.
So the idea that I have is hoping that I will have talked to enough people about it that like then even if it's just 6 of us, like we all get on, we're doing a raid or there's a couple of activities that are you can have a team of 6 and doing that, and then even if it's just the 6 of us on, trying to each one of us with a little bit of a following that we could sort of like bring into it.
Like grow each other's stuff.
Well, and it just make it interesting. The goal in the end is to make it where we're proficient enough that like it's kind of Sherpa-ing, kind of like picking 2 people that win a drawing-esque kind of thing to do a raid with us or do there's a thing now
like
called
playing
the Menagerie.
with viewers. So
Yeah, because I mean none of us are going to be like streamers because we're gods at the game. It's just going to be like we can do this competently and it's fun because you get to interact with us.
Yeah,
that's the idea that I have.
That's smart.
So what's interesting about that is in our ranks, Zach Mayfield, the drummer, was actually like the number 3 monk in the world at Diablo.
Really?
I think he has like 540 something followers on Twitch.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty good.
But he is actually a genius at the game.
Diablo
3 specifically. Yeah. So when I bought the Switch, that's what we've been playing.
Nice. And they ported that over
for sure.
That's cool.
When it's nuts because Destiny is just like as time has gone on, especially after Bungie bought themselves from Activision, is just like exponentially gone out the amount of variety that you can get, like creating builds for specific play styles and weapons having a broader use and things like that. It's become, I've always loved the game, but I'm super easy to please. I just like saving the universe is about all that I need. And then
just saving the universe is very low standards
very low
for a
standards.
game.
But just in general, like I find myself still, like I love year 1 weapons, things that rolled with something simple like Rampage and Outlaw, which Outlaw is just quicker reload after a kill, and Rampage is it stacks higher now because you can get a Rampage spec that takes it past it, but it would stack 3, and so you're just like nuking dudes.
I want to try Destiny.
I mean,
it's fun.
I never
have it.
I just like if we got if we had some interchangeable teams of band dudes, I think the player base for the game itself is consistent enough.
Yeah.
That I think that
like there's enough people watching Destiny on Twitch, you mean?
Sure.
Okay.
We're doing that, or just in general, like that so like for me, this is in general a way to make useful a thing that I love to do, and make it useful in a sense of like creating something memorable for fans if they find that it's an arena that they want to jump into. But I imagine a lot of people are like me, where it's like the difference between spending 4 hours doing something for nothing but enjoyment versus spending 4 hours doing something that can create something useful for people and potentially generate an amount of revenue for me.
Yeah.
And I would do that in tandem with like, I practice bass, I'm learning this song, or I'm working on this tone or whatever it is, and then play games for this long, and then
like
write lyrics or, whatever it is.
Dude, that'd be sweet if I always take like an idea and go way too far with it, but it'd be cool to make your own like transitions between scenes on Twitch, where like it like fades into
like those cheap, like the very first version of like Adobe was it Premiere?
Yeah.
Premiere is what I learned in high school 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I still use. But it'd be cool if it like zoomed out from first person cam into gameplay, but there's like an animated Seth that comes down and plays a bass riff. It's like and then it goes into the gameplay.
I mean, if we can figure out how to do it, I'm in.
Oh, people can do that. You just have to hire an animator and spend a bunch of money.
You could just get somebody to make a cartoon version of yourself, and then have one version with your hand up and one down.
Oh, you just
and then
switch
cut
back
between
and
it
forth?
so your arms just moving.
And then you just put the audio in there.
Yeah.
With the streaming software like Streamlabs OBS or just regular OBS, you can add a lot of cool stuff to your stream, make it more interactive. Highly recommend you add that.
Yeah, any
use that with a computer. After the stream, I can like
I love it. Any and every constructive criticism, thought, place to research I'm into. That's kind of like my goal from now until the end of the year, is to develop at least a strategy for all those things and try and really launch with like a semi regular schedule, just to see what catches on.
That's the important thing with content is schedule, which ticks me off about you because you're really good at Twitch, but you need to be consistent.
I know. After I started working, I just got way less motivated to consistently do it.
It's hard.
I think that for myself, I will encourage you, but take it with a grain of salt. I'm trying to phase out of having to have like I go to work because in the end you lose a lot of time. I spend time in traffic. I do that and it just adds up. And then at home, because I do events like I do, I can go 4 days of a week and have them off and then work the weekend and do what I need to do, which is great. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday are going to be the times when people are like have the most time to watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like I have to figure out a way to transition out of that, or you're going to get to a place where the tipping point is, and you just have to be like, all right, I'm dropping into the half pipe, and if I, eat shit and crack my head open, that's just what I got to do.
I've been eating shit for a couple years now, dude.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you have to find a way, and so I'm simultaneously trying to figure out like some web development stuff, something that would parallel with the things that I want to do creatively.
So you're saying you might want to phase out of your current job?
Oh no, I absolutely do. I just have to find the discipline that I feel like will be successful. I've done sales, but it's just really like I have to find a thing that I can do as long as I have my computer.
Yeah.
Something as simple as like I can be streaming while I watch for the email that I'm waiting, something like that, and try and juggle them until I find a way to make them both make sense.
Yeah.
But the good part about that is streaming during office hours is, exactly like you'd imagine. There's not many viewers, so it's like,
and that's my only free time, so it's very difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if I can figure out during the day something to be, productive enough to keep gas in the tank, so to speak, and then have nighttime to like. I also have to juggle like not being a shitty husband in there too. So it's like having like we have Tuesdays and you know Thursdays or whatever, like just all those things, like starting to try and get the conversation together. And then the band itself, like we want to do it together. So like the sleepy raid night is blah, 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 you know, and stuff like that.
Because I know Shane and Micah game quite a bit.
Well, we all play games a lot, but getting everybody in the same room and making it like, I don't know if you watched the stream that they did when they were doing the Bloodborne marathon.
I didn't even
streamed
know
that?
this.
Yeah, no, it's.
I would have loved to have
it
watched
was-
them play Bloodborne.
I think that it's still up, like you can watch it. But what they did was because they've started taking me through the game. I'm to Vicar Amelia, which like my favorite part about the game. I still know very little about it, but the gameplay is it doesn't matter how powerful you are, like how much you upgrade things. Like the most peon character can still kill you if you're like just.
That's
you know,
called From
messing around.
Software. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's yeah, that's right. You played Sekiro with them in the band.
Yep. I've beaten Sekiro like 1.5 times, and then I have Dark Souls 2 and 3 on my computer.
I still need to play those two. It's a game format that I'm less familiar with because I play the first person shooter type has been consistently what I did, but
It's difficult.
no, it is. Well, I just even watching the gameplay, like I love how important, because my frustration as a kid, while hack and slash is super fun,
Yeah.
you think of the mechanics of fighting, and you know, and as you get into being older, if you've practiced martial arts or any of those things, it's like you start to have an understanding of how unrealistic the physics of what's happening is, which you don't mind because it's a video game. But in Sekiro, I found often as I watched that it was like they're even taking momentum into consideration in the way that the game reacts to what you're doing. And I was like,
That's crazy.
That game was
really cool.
so
Yeah.
expertly thought through and executed that it is an experience of a
yeah.
game, and I'm grateful that I played it.
Is it only PC?
no, it's
on-
everything.
It's on console.
Well, and,
too.
and it's like, and then too, so a thing that I love about Destiny is that a thing about playing a video game is you die, you come back to life. How does that work? Well, you're playing a video game. But games now are like in Destiny, you starting the whole thing, spoiler alert, earmuffs if you've not played the game yet. But the whole way that they justify it is that your existence begins with being resurrected.
Oh, cool.
And so and that's that you're all tapped into this source that enables it to happen over and over again. And it's like it's part of the culture of being a guardian, and it's part of the story instead of this thing that we just overlook because it's like it's like inside the space of the natural understanding. And in Sekiro they do the same thing, like in the boss fights, like, oh, you fight this guy 3 times, he has 3 different versions. Oh, it's a it's like it's a mutation, or it's he's actually this thing, you know, like the headless gorilla and the stuff like that. And you're watching it.
The centipede?
Yeah, and you're just
showed
like,
me that.
yes, he's
Creepy.
dead. And then you're like, what? He's not.
He's
and
not.
there's another one. What's happening?
Oh yeah, the wife.
And Shane's like, you know, Shane's playing it like flipping out. He's like, oh fuck, yeah. You know, it's like, and it's just like, it's so much more entertaining, I feel like, than, you know, I remember playing, you know, Super Mario on the rides home, like I could see on my Game Boy every time like we went underneath a street light, and I'd be like, you know, and it's just so much fun that it's evolved.
Games
to,
have gotten so crazy.
I only play Christian video games usually.
Sure,
Yeah.
well, not me. I'm a heathen.
Right, you are. Dude, wait, have you heard of the Christian video game? It's like Bible Man.
Wait, there's
already
actually
sounds terrible.
there's actually a Christian
Yeah,
video game.
so there's-
I hope to never play it.
There's videos on YouTube of the trailer, but it's basically 2 brothers designed this Bible video game where you go through as like the main protagonist of the Old Testament story.
Okay.
But it looks
Cringe.
I will say
terrible.
this.
Cringe.
I will say this. If they made a VeggieTales game, I would play it.
That'd be
but
sick.
That's it. Like a Larry Boy video
Larry
game.
Boy,
Which
dude.
I feel like Larry Boy would have been a superhero you could have made a video game.
But what if
around.
it was like VeggieTales characters but super gory?
I feel like
yes.
I feel like it'd be an aesthetic I could appreciate, but it would
That would be
fall very flat.
hilarious,
I
like
feel
a DC
That would fall on
comic
deaf
style
ears for
Larry Boy.
sure.
Well, I think so. Okay, that actually brings to mind. This is we were having a conversation about
What does
this.
that bring to mind?
Well, I'll take you there. I promise. You think of well,
We're on a journey.
again, bear with me. you think of what stories are supposed to do. They're supposed to elicit thought. And I found, whether it was because you grow up in this cylindrical kind of thing of everything sort of revolves around the same thoughts, and maybe that's why it felt the way that it did. But Christianity for me as a child, I thought that there just was nothing cool about it. And it doesn't have to be cool in a sense of like entertaining or whatever, but I just meant like we're submitting ourselves to the idea that we're following the creator of the universe, and it just like it's supposed to have juice.
Yeah.
And a lot of and that's what drew me to playing like really, really heavy music. That was where I was like, not only is this a thing born out of something that makes a lot of sense to me, this really angry, emotional place, that this is the ability to achieve catharsis, but it also was like the Christian dudes were the ones that everybody was like, oh yeah, they're fucking insane.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, from where I was coming from and the things that happened to me, I was like, that's how it should be. Like, we should be making the craziest shit because we believe the craziest shit.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're abused children believing in redemption and being kind to people instead of being goons. You know, it's like it's the complete opposite of what you're doing, and that's nuts, I think.
You mean like
you're nuts?
You mean like playing heavy music seems like the complete opposite of what we should be doing?
No. I just mean I like when you sit down to write a record,
which we just did.
Yes. You have the group of things that you hope to accomplish. And I would venture to guess that they're very, very thought out, meticulous, specific things, as opposed to like, we'll dress this guy up in purple and gold and he's a Bible superhero. Like,
are you talking about that show?
Yeah, well, but that's what they made the game about. And I remember being a kid and I would constantly have this conversation with my mom. Like, so the first CD I ever bought was Metallica's Black Album, which she got really nervous about, and bought me Michael Sweet, who was the lead guitarist in Stryper, Delirious, DC Talk, and
the Newsboys.
No, it wasn't them. I don't think they were out yet.
Probably not.
I'm old. But there was one other, and it was like at the time, like Korn was breaking out, Deftones was and it was like that was a music that I could identify with, and I for the first time had this moment of having words to articulate it. But I told her, I was like, Mom, I really am grateful that you would do this for me, but I don't hear myself in any of this. And I think as a parent, that was something that she was upset about, and in the grand scheme, rightfully so. But I think that said of like going back to the point that I was making, I think that I think that you're like me, even though our backgrounds are different. I think that metal is, at least at the moment, this dialect that we speak well, and it's how we communicate to the people that it's for them too.
Yeah.
And it's, it's always about pushing the boundaries and learning something new and finding a way to tie it in and all of those different things, as opposed to, and I can't say that I know that they don't, but the idea of the Bible so often is like what we already have, instead of like, what does this mean now?
Yeah.
And so if you like, but even though the Bible has like some of the gnarliest stuff ever in it, even if you just think of it from like a story perspective, you create something like Bible Man that is so sterile, and you try to compare it to like Batman and the Joker.
Are you talking about that super corny like 90s show?
Yeah, but that's what they made the video game after. And the thing that I'm thinking about it is in the grand scheme of being like an adult human or a teenage human or whatever, the things at play in the dynamic between Batman and the Joker ideologically are like, I mean, it's an intergalactic chasm compared to like the guy that's. I mean, I don't even know the villains because even as a kid, I was like, nah, I'm good. But like,
Talking about Bible villains.
Yeah. Well, not even, but like the villains that would be in that show, like Larry Boy, I know better because my sister is 11 years younger than me. But it was like Larry Boy fought the Fib.
Yeah, the
plant, like the weed, right?
Yeah,
all just to teach us not to lie.
There was a big blobby guy, but even those had more dynamic than the Bible Man stuff. But then again, taking it back to Batman and the Joker, like Batman and the Joker are such a great rivalry because I think that in the midst of their fight, they grow into having this intimate understanding of each other, and then ultimately like a respect. And it's in the midst of a lot of other things. If you've read the comics, the people listening, if you've read the comics, you know that there's like exponential subtext and things like that to it. But that's just such a brilliant thing to have to look at and dissect and things. And so to me, even though I am a Christian, like I will always choose the like Batman Joker kind of thing because I just feel like I get more out of that. And maybe
and we don't have
that's
to,
way cooler than Bible Man.
Yeah.
Well, I said cool in the beginning and I realized that was probably kind of a useless description, but I think again in the weight of validity, I think that well, I guess it's like this. I can liken it to, I went to a meeting somewhere and there were missionaries, which the work that they do is incredible. They go into countries that are very different than ours, and they put on this production and they do it. And I asked him, and this is 6 or 7 years ago, I was like, what do you do for them after you've taught them the gospel? And he's like, oh, you just always point them back to that. And I was like, but what about the whole rest of life? And he got really frustrated. And I didn't mean it like that. I genuinely, I was like, because this is where I'm at in my life. I was like, okay, the redemption story is incredible, and I'm with it and all that. But like, what do we do now? And I find that often. I'm so grateful for my church because I feel like that's kind of where we're at, and other.
Where do you go to church?
Groups of people, Church of the City.
Cool. I'll have to check it out sometime.
But it's like more people are moving in that direction of like, okay, we're all like, we all are around this flagpole, but like now we got to go to class. And I feel like that's a thing in art that I'm hoping. And I feel like I'm seeing like Dustin Kinsrew, and I'm going to misquote him. I think I said this last time, but I have a screenshot of it saved in my phone. He's like, there's a lot of shitty art made in the name of Christendom. And it's like, that's just the thing that it sucks.
Well, so when it comes to creating art, I think I don't specifically like making quote unquote Christian art.
Even that thing, it's a useless tag. It's like, well, here's shit, but I'm going to put this really pretty gold wrapper on it to make it better.
It's like an excuse to make not as good art.
No, I totally.
There are people making art for like Christendom or whatever that is great for sure. But I also like making just art because that's what art is, and it can relate to anybody, you know?
Well, and I feel like though that when something is great, you don't have to make a distinction because part of it being art is that it is great.
Yeah. And that gets into the whole like Christian band versus real band thing, but we don't need to get into that.
What you said, I mean, I know that you don't mean it, but like
real band,
but that thing of like, or your youth pastor being like, oh, this is the Christian version of, and it's like, don't say that. Like, even if it's true, don't tell me that because I already can't listen to them because what you just told me is that this is less than this other thing, and I don't want that.
I want to listen to the
that's so weird.
Regular band, the real band.
Well, or like there are some travesties along the way with that.
I wonder why. I feel like I talk about this too much, whatever. But like,
there's no such thing. We've obsessed over these things our whole lives.
Yeah, I just can't get over it. Like, why? Where did the Christian band thing start? Like, was it the 90s? Like, or like the DC Talk thing? Because that was like super edgy.
Well,
But it also started
I don't
earlier
know.
than that, probably. I don't know.
I don't know. Because you think of so like, have you ever heard Tourniquet?
No.
You want to talk about gnarly speed metal, dude? Tourniquet is insane. Or there's another Flesh something. I don't know.
More like Tourniquet. Got him.
Like if you,
But
no, I mean listen to him. It's like well, because back in the day, like Agnostic Front was kind of the beginning of like the like punk kind of turning into hardcore and those things all coming together. But there are bands, and then I can't think of their names because I'm on the spot trying to sound
you're getting
intelligent
old and stuff.
I can't. That too.
Yeah.
Need that King Cobra.
Yeah.
what is King?
It's a King Cobra,
It's
but
a
for your
King
brain.
Cobra, yeah, but for your brain. No,
Nice,
it's like some
dude.
herb that they put it in like the. I don't know.
How did we get from video games to this?
Because
This guy.
This is what happens when
You are just you're a waterfall of information.
me talk-
but you are an absolute blessing to be around.
It's a blessing waterfall.
No, but the central nervous system of this idea is art. But yeah, but there were just bands in the 80s that like did I mean Meshuggah is such a great example too. They're different genre, but I mean Meshuggah's been playing the music that Meshuggah's played for
they
20
invented the
years.
gented.
Yeah, and then 15 years later, we got a hold of it, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" And they're
Yeah.
kind of like,
We did that.
You know what? We don't have to tell you because we're
Huge.
such geniuses that we'll just put Obzen out and melt your brains." And
Did you hear Bill Burr's
Yes.
little thing about Meshuggah?
I
What?
loved
Do you know
it.
who Bill Burr is?
Yeah.
I love that Bill Burr plays drums.
He went to a Meshuggah show and talked about how he's not typically into that style of music, but
Yeah.
seeing it live made him love seeing it live. And he's like,
Cool.
Meshuggah was so sweet. And because he understood polyrhythms and things
Yeah.
like that. So he actually got
because he's a drummer.
And his drum teacher is who took him, but his observation, which I'll tell you both, if you've never seen them live,
Never.
I went. It was either earlier this year or late last year. I don't remember now.
They came to Nash.
But it was like a religious experience.
No, I really want to go, but I'd never see them near me.
Like all this is like real deal. Like we're all gonna go the next
Yeah.
time they come. We'll figure it out.
I'm so down.
Okay, yeah. You'll probably be on tour, and we might also be on tour because that's
I'll
It's
probably
life
the
of
be.
being
nature
a
of the
touring
beast, but
music-
we'll
Yes.
figure it out. We'll
I like
figure
that.
it out.
What
Nature
if
of the
we both
beast.
just tour with Meshuggah? What do you say?
That
So we headline,
We headline
and
probably
then,
O Sleeper.
and then it's an O Sleeper Meshuggah switch off opening. Every
Yeah, they
other
can
night.
switch off. It's a co-opener.
Here's all I'm gonna say about that is Black Dahlia Murder opened up for them when I saw them. If that tells you anything.
I've never listened to them, but I remember
They're a big deal.
the Black Dahlia Murder. They were playing Warped Tour when I was a
Yeah,
wee
if
little
you want
tot.
to feel inadequate as a musician, those are two great bands to go watch and be like, "Well, I'm never gonna do
I've just
that."
accepted that I'm inadequate.
The cool thing about I didn't.
Well, I don't accept
didn't,
it. It's always like I'm like,
Nagging at you.
I gotta get better. But sorry, go ahead.
I didn't watch them play per se, but I needed shade, so I laid under the semi that had their gear, their little trailer thing, and their drummer was warming up on one of those pads, just his feet. Oh my gosh, he was doing like that side to side toe thing and just
Oh no, he's talking about Dahlia, not Meshuggah.
yeah.
I know,
this
but
is-
I
this
just
is what-
wanted to play Meshuggah riff.
Yeah, just you wanted to bleed real quick.
even- Zach can play the beginning of it, and it makes me want to punch him in the head.
He played it for a sound check one day when we
Yeah.
were with you guys. Let's talk about our band stuff.
No, I think that's good. Thanks for changing the subject. 'Cause
Yeah.
I could have been there forever.
Yeah, we could be there for hours.
We're just gonna cut that first 20 minutes of
Oh
this
no,
out.
it's going in. How was your most recent? So most recently for O Sleeper, you dropped your full length, Bloodied
Yeah.
Unbowed,
It's fantastic.
and then you guys toured it.
We did.
How'd that go?
So we did a month long headliner, U.S. and Canada, and it was absolutely incredible. We took out our buds and famous last words, new homies, convictions, and my sons. Empty is a band.
Your son.
No, I don't. It's so funny that it started that way, but but that they call me Dad. I just have accepted.
You
it.
are a dad.
Famous last words. That's Evan's band, right?
Yeah. So Evan, our front of house guy, that's his band.
Did he still do sound for you guys? Oh, cool.
Oh, he was
He's such a
two-timing
good dude.
it.
He was 2-time.
I liked him a
Yeah,
lot.
he was great.
It's fun because he's just one of us.
Yeah.
And so
He's on top of shit though.
No,
that's what I like.
Well, he's very driven. He's very meticulous, and I think that having another presence of that, because you get with me, Shane, Zach, and Micah, you get kind of varying degrees of that during the day. Everybody's super meticulous about what they're doing, but having it be consistent over, it's like Captain Planet. Like we all put our rings in, and the Megazord gets formed. I know it's Captain
I love
Planet,
that word.
but I think
Megazord.
that's what it is. It's
Megazord.
like he's the fifth Power Ranger, and I love it.
Yeah, anytime we would roll up to a venue, he would walk in and just look like it's like he pretty much had a cape on. He's like looking for the soundboard.
He'd move really fast, and his chest's out, and he's just
Yeah.
all huge, and he's like, hey.
XLRs come out of his fingers. He just sets the stage.
They plug into the board. He's like Phantom power.
Hey, I need
Captain Phantom.
I need four stands. I need 20 XLR cables, 20 foot preferably. Where's your soundboard? Ooh, that's really old. I don't like it. And
Here's a digital
over there,
one.
I need your drum mic package. You okay? I'm gonna need 2 of those toms.
And then he's just after the show, he's just chill.
And no, after everything's set up, he'll take his jewel out, which he quit. I'm super proud of him.
Ripping that
but
young
he'll just
jewel.
rip that jewel and be like, okay, guys, I'm back to normal.
Everything's set up, guys.
Everything's ready.
Time to play a show, everybody. Come on, boys.
You guys ready to rock and roll?
We're
So the
ready to rock and
tour
roll.
went well, though.
I think I don't want to get into sounding like an insane person, but
Too late.
It was fair enough. Fair enough.
We're already full-fledged, baby.
That's true. No, it's way and away. And I've been on some really amazing tours, but way and away, I think it was the most rewarding tour I've ever been on. Sleeper's fans are incredible.
That's awesome.
People that enjoy music and are consistent in going to shows and supporting bands are amazing. But I think that Sleeper has the best fans I've been exposed to. People that are just really generous and sweethearts. Like I made friends with a guy, and I'm not going to try to say his name for fear that I'm going to mess it up. But he and his wife, if they're within like, I don't know, 8 hours of a show we're playing, they come out and they're both authors. And so like,
That's so cool.
the dude's name is, I'm just going to be brave. The dude's name is Stuart, and he has a series he writes called Kill Streak. And he gave me, I think, the first 2 books of that.
Like novels, full-on novels?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have those to read while I'm home. His wife is one of the, I don't know, she's incredible. We were playing in Michigan, and it was a small town that I can't think of the name, but she was there, and I had to do something, and so I asked her to hold my bass because she was standing in front of my side of the stage.
She
and like,
played the show.
she didn't. but she was like, she was so pumped about it. And it was funny. I kind of did it to troll Cody from Empty because he was standing next to her, and I gave it to her instead of him.
Nice.
But she was like so pumped. She took a picture and was like, I can add holding a bass to my resume, even though it was as big as I was. She's itty bitty. But it just was stuff like that of people that were consistent, people that came out to several shows, and they were always sweet, and they, like people that make you cookies or buy you tacos.
I
or,
love people
or
that
whatever.
make me cookies.
And
Yes,
and
you do.
You
was-
brought me cookies. Sorry.
Yeah, it just happened. It happened all the time.
That's great, man.
And yeah, I feel like everybody just showed up, and like people know the words. We played the singles, and then one song that was new, and it was like everybody knew the words,
yeah.
and it was so sick.
Yeah, that's cool. And kind of tying this into what we were talking about Christian art and stuff like that. So in college, I would like start to leave at the end of my time in college to go do tours. So I'd have to do 2.5 weeks worth of homework. Somehow I didn't fail my classes, but
You're a better
Yeah,
man
where's
than
that?
me,
Where's
dude.
that?
Oh, don't
Hey,
do that to him. Don't do him like that.
I don't need the paper, dude. I got this podcast.
Where's the paper?
Hey, dude, don't
With
you
your
worry.
name on it, with the signature and a stamp.
He used it that time that he didn't have money for toilet paper.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do have it. No, I don't. But I wrote this paper my senior year, all about how the church could learn a lesson from the heavy music scene, and because I got so much crap from people, like even professors, for being in a heavy band.
Really?
Yeah,
Is Evangel that like?
well, it was
conservative?
against the rules to even be in a bar, like while you attend that school, like even during the summers.
You cannot walk into an
Where did
establishment
you
of
go to school?
alcohols.
Or do you not want to say it?
No, I don't care. I love
I
talking
already
about
said
it.
it, so-
Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
Go dislike them on Facebook. No, I overall thankful because I made great friends. But also overall I'm broke because of that place.
Yeah.
But
With no paper.
yeah, I learned a lot. I feel like I wouldn't be the person I am without the experience, even the negative.
No,
parts.
I mean, I think that's the way to view life. I'm sad for your student loans.
Yeah.
But it's funny because that ended up being a big part of why I didn't go. Like I didn't finish because I was like,
yeah,
go into debt, more money than I feel like I'll
just
ever
wish I would have been
have.
smarter then. Like,
Well,
because it's just the
not-
norm to go.
But I think that it's easy to do that to yourself. But in retrospect, you're not taking into account the abilities that you have stemmed from that experience.
yeah,
And so you're
true.
even the guile that you have about it is propelling you forward, which you wouldn't have if you didn't experience it.
I need to finish that really quick because I got off track. But basically, I wrote that paper about the church. I ended up getting an A on it, but basically, I just tried to compare like how when I go to heavy shows, I feel a sense of community that I don't feel at church.
Sure.
Just like even when everyone's pitting and getting crazy, if somebody falls up, like everybody's like instantly, let's pick him up. And then you keep going together. It's like this really cool flow and just the amount of passion at those shows. And it depends on the shows and the band, the people in the crowd. You're going to have some turds in the crowd once in a while.
Sure.
Especially at Earthground shows.
Right. Lots of turds.
Yeah, you guys have that beat down dimension to your music, and everybody loves to punch girls in the back of the head.
I don't get that. We don't have too much of that because
We
also
don't have a lot
too
of
many
like
people
crowd
at our
killing.
shows.
Yeah. There's tons of room for each person to have
Here's the thing.
That's why
at
we're
our
small.
shows, yeah.
Like, and
for safety.
I obviously don't really mosh anymore, but like
Oh,
when I was
I'm
a
in mass
kid,
retirement.
dudes like that were in the middle of the room to beat each other up is like my favorite part of metal shows.
Really?
But when it spilled, well, yeah, it's like there's something magical about getting hit in the face and you're like, I'm not made of glass. And the guy next to you is like, you good, dude. And you give each other knucks and you keep going crazy.
And that
Such a
China
weird-
is going and you're just
but it's when
adrenaline
it
is flowing.
spills into the bystanders that I get kind of bummed about. And I remember being really young, like 18, and going to shows and really loving San Antonio for everybody. Like, you went to a couple shows, you was like, okay, if I want to be a part of this, I stand here. If I want to be a part of this, I stand here. And it was something that like, it was absolutely an unspoken rule kind of thing. But you had the older dudes kind of showing the newer, like the younger guys, like the ropes and don't be a dickhead. Like the old heads were breaking up fights and stuff like that. And I don't see it as much today, but when you go to a show and you see that, like that thing of like, there's this wild chaos and respect simultaneously, it's really, really great.
It's a cool space to live in. It's a nice little fence line.
I like rock shows.
I like a rock and roll show. So we just finished writing our next record.
You gonna show me any of it?
Yep.
We have it all. So
It's just like pod farm guitars and program drums and no vocals.
That
but
sounds like the way that Jeremy likes to do recording.
that's how we do pre-pro.
Just kidding,
We
J-Man.
record for real. But
Oh, did you guys use cabs?
Don't
tell me that. I'm sorry.
No, I don't care. I want to be like totally open about everything. I think it's cool too. So we track with Kemper and then we reamp through a 5150 through a Mesa cab, 412. Everything's raw. But tracking with the Kemper like obviously preserves your tube life.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what did you track? Did you mic an 810? Please tell me you mic'd an 810.
He mic'd a 610 for
Hell yeah.
To record?
to reamp.
To reamp.
Oh, to
So we
reamp.
record everything direct.
Yeah, you always
digitally.
want to do because then you can melodyne it. No, all that stuff is fun, but like the reamping part
I
is
just
so
sat in a
crazy.
computer chair and played a riff. I have no idea what happened.
You gotta start watching, man, so you can do it
He
yourself.
presses space, and then I see the line go. I'm like,
To be fair, you've never been there while he's mixing. I've only been there because I've worked with other bands he's recorded.
So in my local band, I wasn't allowed to record bass because they said I wasn't good enough, which is so dumb.
Well, it's also true.
Well, that's pretty unanimous. Like to be a bass player that gets to track his parts means you're like top tier. Just so you know.
So tracking Rahab was the first time I'd ever recorded bass, ever.
you did great.
So
You're
I was
really
like,
solid
I didn't.
live. So I mean, I imagine
Yeah,
you
you're
do
really
the
good.
same in
Thank you.
a
Thank
studio
you.
setting. Well, I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Like if you
I
weren't
am.
good, I wouldn't say it.
Yeah,
ripping
no,
out
I
just-
believe
I'd
you.
go
I'm ripping a jewel into that hole.
No,
rip a jewel into that.
So I didn't know what. Evan,
Straight
all
up
right,
his bungus.
I'm normal now. Let's play a show. Yeah, so I didn't know what was going on. I just played, but it was
Well,
fun.
The thing that I'll tell you as you start to learn, maybe you'll never be an engineer. It's what it is.
It's
but
very
but
likely I will never be in.
Well, but maybe you decide you love it. But the thing that I think is funny or fun, sorry, not funny, but fun is that if you start to learn all the dimensions of what you're doing, like because you're doing it every night when you're on tour and how that translates and what you like and what you don't like. And like this night I could feel it in my feet. This night it hit me in the chest and all these things that different rooms do. When you get back to the studio, you think of like, from Jeremy's perspective, he has 3 stringed instruments, maybe some programming, all the vocals and all the drums that he's thinking about in this really broad checklist kind of thought process.
Yeah,
But if you go in with bass and you have a mini checklist of the 10 things that you can think of, like it just means that your end of that will have more consideration than it would naturally, not because of neglect necessarily, but just for time. And so like if you go into the studio like, okay, I want to play at this frequency, I want to play it out of this cab, and I want to have these 2 amps going simultaneously into the same cab or into 2 different cabs or whatever it is, and like you have those ideas that can all be accomplished digitally, you change the dynamic of what you would bring to the record than if you're just like, I'm going to do what they tell me and leave.
I see what you're saying.
And so it's not necessarily going to be better even than what they would do, but there's something about having
I mean, that's collaboration.
Having an informed perspective instead of, like you said, like he hits the space bar and you're like, ah! Well, but being competent at playing your instrument is, I mean, you wouldn't even be on the record if you couldn't do that. So, I mean, that's a good thing to start with, but it's actually a lot of fun.
Just nerding out about the small details.
Well, one of the things about being home is that I'm still learning the Helix system, and the possibilities are so big.
Helix is digital like guitar and bass sounds for anybody who
so
doesn't
it's like
know.
for me, I could let Shane do everything and be that guy in the band that's like, oh, I just, or I can be like, I may still use what he creates because his ear is incredible, and he's so smart. But like I might also, because I'm spending more time on that than I'm spending time on my instrument like he does on guitars and you know the synth pads and stuff like that. It's possible that I will at least inspire something that he wouldn't have thought of because I've spent so much time on it.
Yeah.
And you can do the same. It's just adding equity, I think.
And as like we grow as a band and the years continue, the records continue, it's becoming more of a collaboration. Where at first it was, this is Jeremy's band. We're the hire-ons. It's now, this is our band. I wrote a significant amount of guitar work for this album, which feels so good.
Yeah.
Finally.
It's good riffages.
And so it's cool I just sent all my riffs to Jer. He built all the structures, but it's cool to get those back and hear how he blended mine with his. And it already feels more dynamic. But this first EP, or this EP we're about to record is way more, it's like a heavy rock album almost.
That's cool.
It's still got our flavor to it.
Definitely
I just
has
want
the
more
Earth
four
Grows
on the
flavor.
floor stomp parts.
Dude, yeah. It's like a doom rock album. It's just
We also have a couple standard like 08 breakdowns.
It's weird. Yeah, we've
Like,
never
we've
done
never
that.
done that before.
I mean, whatever.
So I'm excited.
That's one of my favorite parts of metalcore, dude. I love a good beat down.
Well, okay. Like throughout time, people have taken a dump on simplicity, but it's why you can listen to pop so easily. You're just like, oh yeah, this makes sense to my brain, and I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Which is not diminishing the intelligence of the music. It's profound in its simplicity because it makes it more accessible, as opposed to like, we like to listen to Meshuggah because we're like, wait, what? 1, 2, 3. Oh, what?
Yeah.
And you're like, you're dissecting this thing as you do it because that's fun. But if you put on T Swift, you're just like, you just start
passive.
singing. You just start singing along.
Yeah, you
because
can't help it.
They made it to grab you by the hand and pull you into the song with
It's
it.
like
So-
scientifically crafted to be catchy and
Do you guys watch the
memorable.
Hot Ones?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
good.
the John Mayer episode, he
I haven't
just
seen that
didn't-
one.
you
Didn't
have
watch
to watch it because not
love
only
him.
does he eat all the wings like a boss without
Of course he
flinching
does.
one time.
It's his
he
sexy
just-
voice,
He
dude.
just casually hacks pop music. He's like, oh yeah, it's just this. I'm not going to give it away, but if you watch it, you'll see
No
him
spoilers
just be like,
here.
I'm the most incredible musician on the planet. Oh, and here's this thing that just breaks the code on what we're all doing.
Here's
in
why
life.
he was able to eat all the wings. He grabs the wing, maybe the hottest one. He says one word, and his bassy, silky voice just
we did him in order.
demystifies the wing and blows all the hot dust off it.
Maybe that's what happens.
just a regular
or
wing.
he's just an actual boss, which is
Yeah, that's
probably the more
probably it.
likely of.
I like the
of
mist
thing.
idea.
Did you watch the Aubrey Plaza?
Aubrey
Is that-
Plaza.
Aubrey
I
Plaza.
think I saw.
She's from
a
Parks
little
and
bit.
Rec.
Oh yeah, I know who she is.
She
Don't
did
worry.
it. I know. who she
Caden
is.
loves a plaza.
I love.
He'll
a
go
good
shopping
plaza.
there anytime.
She did it without like
Breaking eye contact.
emoting. Like
Nice.
Like
Oh,
so
eating
you
the
could
wings?
see like the tears in her eyes, but she would just like act really normal.
Yeah.
And trying to keep that attitude persona that she has so well
She's got
perfected
that
during.
April character where she's just like.
So
Yes,
good.
and that gets me going, dude. I love that.
That's what it takes for Caden, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you just have to be creepy,
and
beady eyes.
creepy, ambiguous, non-event.
I think it's the power and
Yeah.
the mean sassiness.
Oh,
When it's
Caden
so
loves
funny in that show
Oh,
though
yeah.
because she married who she did. I
Wait,
don't even
what?
know what you'd call
Oh.
Chris Pratt in the show.
Oh, I thought you meant in real life.
No,
I
no,
was
I
like,
don't-
What?
I mean, she
She's off
probably
the
is married.
table.
I was like, what?
Caden's off the air.
Hole through there. I
just
go to
like-
the next apartment.
Yeah, they
He
also.
is a puppy. That's how I would describe him.
Yeah, no,
he is a puppy.
he's a Labrador puppy.
Mhm.
Just
He is.
chewing everything
He's
and
so
pumped
great.
on.
Everything.
Everything.
Always happy.
Even following Chris Pratt on Instagram. Do you guys follow him?
My wife does.
It feels like
I get updates that way.
it feels like following a high school friend. Like, he's just so chill and
That's
he
awesome.
seems like authentic.
I
wanna
love that he
hold
makes
him.
fun. Like he makes fun of his diet all the time. That's mostly what we talk about. Is he's like, "Here's my snack."
Oh,
and it's
yeah,
like,
those are great.
It's like a piece of cheese in between two cucumbers or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This sucks, but
Yeah.
it's keeping me thin.
Yeah.
I get to be a superhero."
What's your speaking of like thinness, we've been trying to exercise a lot. What do you do on tour?
Sweat a lot. So our AC went out again.
No.
This time for only about 2 weeks, but it is
Only
Oh,
about
yeah.
2 weeks
Yeah,
in
and-
the
yeah,
summer.
no, it was-
That's a
Well,
fortnight.
and we're fortunate because it was the northern part of things as opposed to us going through the desert.
That's
But
true.
I have a thing. The way that I can make myself focus is by making what I'm doing uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I purposefully wear this like winter Under Armour thing
Oh gosh.
while we play live
And just sweat it out.
and just sweat it out. Excuse me.
It's smart to do it live. 'cause
We
you can
had
sweat
a
anyway.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's essentially my going to the gym every day, and we had planned to work out, and we would all do little things like we brought some dumbbells that we'd kind of hit before we got on stage, but because we didn't take any crew out, like everybody was so busy that the downtime we had was like, okay, I need to rest so I can give this hour-long set what it needs.
Oof, that's a long set.
Oh yeah, I forget what it's like. I mean,
I mean,
I've
it
never
was-
played that long actually.
It was intense. I mean, and in like an
It's like
amazing
camping.
kind of way.
Hate
But wait, what?
He said it's like camping after he
She
said
said
intense.
it was intense.
It was intense.
You're
like
the worst.
camping.
That's a
intense.
fucking 15-year-old joke.
And it's still funny.
No, it's not. It's just dumb.
Which is why it's funny.
Right. Anyway,
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, you were camping.
Hour-long
we were
camping session.
in tents. But everybody, kind of did it their own way. I think in the future, personally, once we have a driver, none of the rest of anything will matter, because I realized the reason on this last tour is I can only sleep about 4 hours at a time on tour, and it's because I'm stressed out about us getting to where we're going.
Yeah.
If I have a person that their only job, and it's not anyone's fault. It's not like they're a terrible driver or anything like that. It's just I get stressed out about that if I'm not the one driving, because if I'm driving, I know what I'm going to do. And so once we hire someone that their only job is to get us where we're going,
I'll do it.
I'll be able to sleep great. No, I wouldn't do that to you. I'll be able to sleep great. And like the thing that we would do is we just every day we wake up at a Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
We go in, we knock out our workout in an
It's a
hour and a half.
great way
or
to start a
whatever.
day too.
When I'm home, that's what I try to do. And the Sleeper tours, because they've been so successful, I found myself about halfway through being like, you know what? This may only happen one time, so I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want
Just
and as
enjoy it.
much of it as I want. And I did. And on this last tour, I'm happy to announce Micah relinquished his crown as the person who eats the most.
Really?
Yes.
You're up there.
I usurped the throne, apparently.
Wow.
But
So if
I
you're
did-
sitting down,
I ate the shit out of some food on that tour.
I
which
cannot eat
if
that
you-
much
if
at
you
once.
can see.
if you're going to let's just say you're at an Applebee's style restaurant, what are we ordering? What are we getting?
It kind of depends. I go for shock and awe sometimes.
Oh, 13 burgers.
No, well, nothing like. But there were times where like I'd order an entree and then I'd be like, you know what, I need more than this, and I'd order a second one, and everybody'd be like, yo,
Dude,
You're also like tall.
Well, we're
and
all
big
giant
muscles.
dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
But-
Sleeper is huge.
But it was like that.
giant.
I
burgers, please. If you
Yeah.
guys do you ever go to Steak and Shake on tour?
try not to.
Okay.
That's
Try-
kind of my
That's a-
thing.
that's a grease
I'm not
place.
diminishing it, but so like I've been touring full time for about 10 years.
It's sick brag, dude.
right on the shut up. It's right on
We
the
only
cusp.
go to
I
the
have
steakhouse.
I have eaten terrible food for so much of it because I was so
No,
poor
I get that.
that on this I was like, and I made sure to only do it a couple times, but there would be nights where I'd spend $50 on dinner, and I would just be like, I don't
Dang.
give a shit because I want to eat this food.
I could use that for
I
groceries.
have trouble. I ordered a Thai entree today, and I only ate half of it, and I'm gonna eat the other half.
I already
can't
ate
eat
that,
oh, okay.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
No, I
yeah. I can't eat that much at one time. It's
No,
so
I mean,
impressive.
I think that's good. Well, I've had a job since I was 11 years old.
That's a sick brag, dude.
No, it's not.
I've been saving
I
since
just
I was
like,
11.
I don't have much to show for my working since I was 11. But it's like, I'm always doing stuff. I'm always busy. I'm always, and so it's like the amount of times that I eat are probably still less than the times in my life where like I've forgotten to eat. Or the first full American tour I did, I ate every other day. Because we made $3 a day, and it's like buying something for $3 just makes my stomach angry. Like I survived that tour because the drummer that went out with us worked at the Mars factory in Cleveland, Tennessee, and we had boxes of coconut M&Ms, Twix, and
I would feel so sick.
well, my thing was I would get a coffee, which was $1. I'd get a coffee and I'd eat a bag of M&Ms or Twix, and then I'd go about my business. I'd save my $3 up to go buy $6 worth of Taco Bell every other day.
Dang.
And I lost 25 pounds on that tour.
Oh my gosh.
And so when I'd get home, I worked at this really nice sushi place. And so it just sort of started this cycle of like, be really hungry
like
for
fast
a long
and
time. Yeah,
feast.
be
Fast
really
and
hungry for a long time,
The
and
fast
then
and
come home,
feastiest.
and not only will you eat a lot, but you'll eat a lot of really good food, and it'll make you miss the really good food that much more when you're out. And so,
Gosh, I love
that
sushi.
that gets the icing on top. Micah's wife is a chef.
Oof.
And so I've only been playing with them for a year, but the first time that I went, she made like the most incredible macaroni and cheese I've to this moment eaten in my
I
life.
love a good M&C, dude.
And baked chicken. And
God bless you.
you take a bite and you're like, or she, the other time she made us burgers that she had her own ratio of different things to make the patty with. And I ate the first bite and I was like,
that's a great feeling.
nothing else
matters
is ever going to compare to this
She's
thing.
an angel.
She is.
She came to one show on that tour we did with you guys, right? A couple?
I don't remember.
Because I did meet her at least once. I was very shy.
Sure.
She's really attractive. No, and I don't mean that in a weird way. I have this social issue to where no matter my intentions with somebody, if they're beautiful, man or woman, I am intimidated by them. It's like, I can't talk to you. You're on a whole nother level.
Point because I think that it is a funny thing that no one talks about. Like, beauty is intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's not because of anything other than it's striking. And it can be
that's a better word. She's striking.
It can be art, it can be music, it can be just like anything that impresses upon you because its radiance is
So we just got to find other ways to be striking. For instance, we could go bowling.
Yes! Roommates!
I just imagine that
you guys are terrible.
I imagine we're in a bowling alley. Me and you we just got our clown shoes on. We're about to throw some strikes. And there's a beautiful woman about 6 lanes down.
I would look and get a strike in the lane over from missing.
Nope.
Yes.
So she throws one. She probably gets a spare. She's still talented, but also beautiful, beautiful striking. She looks at you. You get super nervous, but then I tap you on the back. I'm like, Caden, you know how to be striking. And you bowl this beautiful dead eye strike. And you look back at her and you both just face mash.
I want everybody to notice how uncomfortable this scenario is making Caden look.
What do you mean? I'm getting excited.
I think he looks inspired.
He's just like...
And then you spend an entire life
I'm just
respecting her.
intimidated by people in general.
People
so I
are
was
hard.
imagining this
Well,
scenario. I was like, that's terrifying.
Tell this story from your perspective, because the last time we did this, he told me about his. What did you think about us when you went on the road? Because he was like, these dudes are gonna cool guy us, and the bass player's an idiot because he wore Buzz Lightyear Vans.
Oh yeah,
oh dude, I judged you on your shoes for like a week of that tour. I was like, who is this guy with his big ass shoes and his big thick juicy dumper walking around the merch table all the time?
When you said big ass shoes, I just pictured shoes on his butt cheeks.
No, that was the first two things I noticed about you. I was like, he's got big shoes and a big butt.
Was I wearing my Jordans?
I don't know shoe brand.
Did you judge him at that festival we played
Yeah, because
together?
that's when he did.
That's when I judged him.
I didn't notice your shoes in Dallas at the Rail.
No, before that. We played Creation.
So yeah,
Oh,
to speak of
I keep
Wolves,
forgetting
headlined
that.
the night you got. It was.
I don't think I met you then.
You did.
Oof.
It's okay. I don't matter. I'm just a dude. It's not a big deal.
Just big booty duty.
But just for the sake of comparing, like, I thought it was really funny. He was like, that guy sucks. Look at his shoes.
Yeah, dude.
So you made a good impression on me at that show that I actually remember meeting you at.
The
Dallas at the
show.
Rail.
Dude, the
you
same
were,
thing happened because I forgot about the Creation thing too.
You were playing. I was on the stage on the side watching.
Keep going.
Okay.
And in between songs, you just like came up to me and talked to my ear like, hey, you're a really talented bassist. I'm glad that we get to hang out again. Like while you were on stage. I was like,
I didn't remember that either.
I was like, he didn't have to he's playing a show and then he came to me side stage in between songs to give me a compliment.
Well,
I was like, what a nice guy.
I did that. Well, thank you. I did that because I wanted to say that I was excited because I liked your music. I was excited to see you play, but I was at merch, so I couldn't have come up to you earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't remember what I said to him. I didn't remember what I said to you because I generally try to accomplish things like that because I'm just like, I'm also like a puppy. I'm just so pumped to be here. Like when I get to play shows is, I don't know, is the happiest that I end up being. And so I just like, I want to do all the things.
Yeah.
But then when you saw my shoes, you're like, oh,
So
never mind.
it was in Omaha. That was the first day of the O Sleeper tour, and you're just like walking around setting up merch, and I was like, he's got these giant like half pink shoes that go up to his knees.
Oh yeah, no, I did.
And it's like I am just like a small shoe guy because I'm just a Vans.
I didn't have those yet. I didn't have pink shoes.
They were pink on the top, like
I did. I bought those in the middle of that tour after my luggage got stolen. Remember?
The story deepens.
Ooh, you don't remember correctly.
I don't remember correctly. That's very likely.
I must have had my Jordans on because those would be big shoes. The Nikes
they were
I
big
had
shoes
were not big.
and
Big
tight
shoes.
pants around your butt, and I was like, okay.
Well, I mean,
You do have a thick booty, baby. It's nice.
I don't know what to say. I don't disagree.
Thank you.
But yeah, thanks for the compliment about
you
my.
go.
Oh,
what'd you say?
welcome.
Juicy dumper.
Juicy dumper.
Terrible.
No human should say that about their own ass ever.
I got a juicy dumper on me.
I take
Thick,
it back.
juicy dumper.
I take it back.
Be blessed.
Oh man.
All of you be
Yeah,
blessed.
that was my first impression of you. And then we got drunk in the back of your van and just rambled for like an hour, nonsensical stuff back and forth. And I was like, oh, he's pretty cool.
Did we really?
Oh yeah.
That night?
No. It was like later on the tour when it wasn't like, because the first few days are always like kind of awkward. People still getting
Yeah.
to know the other bands. You know, there's less like mingling and hanging. But once we started hanging, I specifically remember at the launch pad in New Mexico.
No, that was the night that I hurt my knee.
Yes.
And so that's why
Because I
got
remember
hammered.
carrying all of your merch out for you.
Yeah, I felt terrible. About
No,
all that.
it was only like a few totes. It's no big deal. But yeah,
big ass knee brace.
we were.
I just wear that
inebriated.
every day now. What?
I said, oh, I just made a bad pun.
Yeah, thanks for not repeating it. Anyways, I found out what happened to my knee. Remember?
Oh yeah, what is it?
So my knee was feeling sore. It's tendonitis. It's patellar tendonitis. So I'm wearing this like
Patella, I hardly know her.
Well, the patella is what they use to reattach my ACL in my right knee.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm familiar.
yeah. So I just have this like thick strap on that.
You can
Keep
just
going.
go
That's
there,
the end of
dude.
the story. No.
Yeah.
So there's this. It just like squeezes my tendon onto my kneecap, and I can't do like any running or jumping for 2 months.
He's gonna have little
Oh, is it
chicken
going to
legs.
heal itself?
Yeah, that
Oh,
they
cool.
said it should. If it doesn't, then they're gonna give me a little injection or something.
Little, like steroid shot.
injection?
yeah,
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
totally
I'm
guessed.
happy
I'm
to
glad I
hear
was
you
right.
don't have to have surgery.
yeah. Seriously, I was pumped about that.
Nobody likes surgery.
You had to have surgery though. That sucks.
I do, and I will again at some point when I have 6 months of downtime.
Right.
Probably won't happen until I'm old.
Yep.
No, I don't know.
You're already there, so
You're a geek. Shut up. You do have some lovely wisdom grays in here though.
ways.
You have some ways, brother. Well, boys, we're already past an hour, so we got to wrap this ding dang thing up.
Well,
Wrap
did
it up
we
like a
actually
present?
talk about anything?
No.
'Cause I don't. Okay,
we didn't.
That's what happens,
and
every
that's the
time.
beauty of this podcast.
Yes.
It was entertaining without any
Deviation.
direction.
No, it deviated.
I was waving
waiting for
my
someone to-
hand through the air like a snake for
Yeah.
you,
If you,
Yep.
audio only listeners.
yeah,
This is what it feels like to be in my head.
yeah.
I'm
And
sorry.
it's
You
beautiful.
had to hear it.
No, dude.
Nuh-uh,
Thanks for sharing
no.
it with us. Thanks for
We
outpouring.
appreciate. Honor is ours.
We love you. So everybody, because last time we talked about the album, it wasn't out yet.
Album's
So
out now.
Everybody can go stream.
Go
Those
stream
Sleepers'
it.
New
Go
album.
buy it.
Yeah. So Spotify, Apple Music. It's called Bloodied Unbowed. All of the songs are there. Jam them, one or all. If you want to help out in the vein of the streaming way of life, hit the old download button and keep the album in your offline content, and that will
Oh, does that help?
be a good mark for us.
Oh, cool.
We will be launching our online store towards the end of the year, so keep your eyeballs out for that.
Sweet, sweet.
We are going to Europe in December, which will be really exciting.
We have some Europe listeners actually.
It'll be
so-
capped off by playing a festival in Denmark, I believe, called. No, I don't remember the name.
Sleeper Fest.
It's not Sleeper Fest.
That's a cool name.
It would be a cool.
You're
name.
welcome.
And so personally, my screen name there is Webster Happens 7. I will be working to launch my Twitch channel,
Yeah.
potentially a Discord channel, and YouTube, which I'll keep the moniker the same. I'm going to be doing some playthrough videos with Jaboy, Zach
Yeet.
Mayfield. for the singles off of Bloodied Unbowed. And so if you're into that, stay tuned.
Yeah, now that you're home, we can finally start working on your content. Because we talked about that after the last podcast.
And spoiler, we're going to get Aaron Marsh.
He's a good boy. I'm trying to have him on the podcast. He's
amazing. we already said, I'll just drag him here. I'll drive to Atlanta and drag him back if I have to, but he's going to be on an episode
insane,
with us.
like graphic designer and video producer.
Very creative, very smart, very...
I called him we talked on the phone last night.
Oh, good. Because I was trying to rope him into because you leave the 20th, so we have to do that group of things we talked about doing.
Yeah, we will.
20th.
Even if we have to road trip up to Atlanta. But you don't need to hear about that. So God bless everybody. Have a lovely day. And go support O Sleeper.
Have a good see ya.
Peace.
Woo!
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like my stuff, consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean a whole lot to me. If you'd like your name on all of my work, access to episodes of my podcast early, or bonus episodes of my vlog, head over to patreon.com/Zachary Mayfield. You can support me for as little as $3 a month. That's a pretty freaking good deal.